If I said the words to you, Matt Powell has a giant inflatable banana in his backyard that he calls Dr. Peel, then some of you might not know what I'm talking about. Well, this is Matt Powell. He is a young Earth creationist who thinks dinosaurs walked among humans some 4,000 years ago. He likes to think of himself as some sort of fresh Christian YouTuber. And today he's giving us his opinion on atheism. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, a quick word from me about today's sponsor, Blinkist. Now, as usual for New Year's, I've made the resolution to read more. And as usual, it's proving difficult with how busy I am. But the Blinkist app allows me to understand the most important things from over 6,500 non-fiction books, summaries and podcasts in just 15 minutes. And this really does help me grow. And I started this year with The Serendipity Mindset by Christian Bush, which is all about the art and science of creating good luck. Now, one of the key ideas is that serendipity is usually about connecting dots that have previously been elusive. And this quote in particular. Often serendipity is the result of seeds that were planted weeks, months or years in advance. And it always requires something of you, whether it's noticing a value that hasn't been seen before or drawing a conclusion that hasn't been reached before. Now, I chose this book because I wanted to read something a bit more on the fringes of science. And it was perfect, to be honest. Plus, I want to introduce the newest feature, Blinkist Spaces. Now, this feature allows you to create a space with friends or family where you can add, share and recommend titles from the Blinkist library all in one place in the app. Now, a space can be for a group of people or for a topic like productivity or mindfulness. And all members of a shared space can access all titles in that space, with or without a Blinkist premium subscription. And be part of the 70% of Blinkist users who've actually impressed others with what they learned from Blinkist. Get a 7-day free trial and 25% off Blinkist annual premium with my promo link in the description. Right, on with today's video, which is on a certain Matt Powell. And he made a video entitled Christian Response to Atheism. Just to give you an idea about Matt as an individual, this is the pinned comment he wrote beneath his video. This video contains some hard facts. If you're an atheist, I wish you the very best. The best thing for you is to become a Christian. Let's see how many times Matt doesn't get atheism in the space of 10 minutes, shall we?
If I was to tell you that a rock appeared in this room that I'm filming in from nothing, you would say that I am not a valid source of information, that I've bought into a lie. Well, that's exactly what atheism is. It's the idea that everything could have appeared from nothing with no God. That is a belief in magic. That's mysticism and sorcery. That is not science.
Our survey said...
That didn't take long. That is not what atheism is. Atheism is a lack of belief in gods. Yes, that was plural, gods. As Ricky Gervais once said to someone, out of the 5,000 or so gods in mythology, I believe in one less god than you. So that makes you, Matt, almost as atheistic as me.
And so I've actually asked certain atheists, would you become a Christian if Christianity were true? And they will say no. And that shows us that they're more about emotions. They're more about feelings and experiences instead of demonstrated fact.
Well, if evidence was put forward at the existence of God that stood up to scrutiny, then I would indeed be happy that God exists. But that's different to becoming a Christian.
Look, if you're an atheist, there's no way to determine what's right and wrong.
Our survey said...
Wrong again. I like to think that I have a strong moral compass. I do know the difference between right and wrong. Maybe you should ask your Christian friend Kent Hovind if he knows the difference between right and wrong, Matt.
And so everything is based on feelings. Remember, it's about a feeling rather than what fact is and what science has shown us and the things that we can know for sure. It's more about emotions. And so we're left with emotional experiences and just feelings that would tell us what to do if there is no God. And a lot of people are going to have a lot of different feelings. And so it's going to be nothing but chaos if we take an atheistic perspective.
Our survey said...
Wrong again. There is much speculation about Adolf Hitler's religious beliefs. The truth is, we don't really know for sure. So you absolutely cannot say that he was an atheist for certain.
Of the origin of the universe and of our existence. And one thing we need to understand is that atheists actually have the worst statistics in the world for doing some of the most reprehensible things known to man.
Like what? You can't just spout that stuff and then not back it up, Matt. I'll do it for you. In 2014, Alex Hannaford, who was a reporter for the Texas Observer, sent a questionnaire to all 292 inmates on death row in a prison in West Livingston, Texas. Of the inmates that responded, 63% said they believed in God when they entered death row. 63%. 36% were non-believers. Now that is only one prison, of course, but those stats do tell a compelling story, Matt.
They lead the world in school shootings. Now keep in mind, they only make up a small percentage of the population, yet they lead the world in school shootings.
Again, I would love to see the data for this. Of the 5 deadliest mass shootings in US history, 4 of the perpetrators were religious.
That means there is a correlation between atheism and school shootings.
A correlation you absolutely cannot make. That's like saying there's a correlation between serial killers and being bald.
Denying God, denying reality, and going and shooting up innocent people. Atheists also lead the world in drug abuse. Drugs put you into a fantasy land, yet they'll declare that we're living in fantasy land as Christians. But look, if your demographic is leading the world in drug abuse, you're leading the world in living in a fantasy, in this euphoria where you're seeing things that don't even exist because you're in such a mind-altered state. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, I do agree, that is not good. But I don't really think you can attribute atheism as the reason to why people do drugs.
You don't want to be associated with that. Atheists also lead the world in suicide. And that's a very sad thing. That's why I don't want you to be one anymore if you are one. So if you are poisoning people's minds and telling them there's no creator, magic is real. We appeared from nothing, just like a rock appeared out of nowhere. Whole universe just appeared out of nowhere, folks. When you get somebody to believe a big lie like that, that actually does affect their understanding of the world.
Could not disagree more. I think my understanding of the world is just fine. Sure, there's some things that science can't explain, and that, of course, is okay. But there are also things that Christians believe that are unexplainable, and they blindly believe without requiring an explanation. Being an atheist means all of that is gone. You don't even need to like or even understand science to be an atheist. In its purest sense, you just say, I don't believe there is a God.
People are so confused today, and you'll find that many will act like animals. And the reason they act like animals is because they believe we are animals. Atheists also lead the world in drunkenness. Drunkenness puts you into fantasy land. It is a poison-induced experience that you get from drinking alcohol and putting a poisonous substance into your body.
I think that just means we know how to have a good time, carefree, and without the threat of a fiery eternity hanging over our shoulder.
Let me tell you, people often say that the devil does not exist, yet they do things that really can only be explained by the intervention of Satan on this earth. How do you get all these terrible things that happen? How do you get all these horrible people that exist that go and trick other people? How does that happen?
Yes, some people can be bad. We know this, Matt. But you cannot exclusively claim that all bad people are atheists. There are atheists who are bad people, and there are atheists who are good people. There are Christians who are bad people, and there are Christians who are good people. It's the same no matter what label you slap on yourself. It is an irrevocable fact of life.
The existence of Satan perfectly explains why this happens. You don't want to be proud to be an atheist, because it's nothing to be proud of.
I don't really see it as something to be proud of either. I just am. It's not a way of life like Christianity is.
In fact, like I said, you're joining a group of people that leads the world in the most reprehensible acts that have ever been known to man. And some of you atheists out there will say that Christians are hypocritical. I can't be a Christian because I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Hypocrisy isn't even wrong if there's no God. So you can't even have a moral argument in this case because there's no objective morality to begin with.
We don't need objective morality. It's an incredibly grey area. Some people do good things, some people do bad things. Personally, I don't do anything to people that I wouldn't want being done to me. And I try to be kind whenever the opportunity arises. That's it. That's my code. Some people might have a different code, and if yours is because you follow the code in a book, then that's fine. I've got no problem with that. But you cannot monopolise morality and claim that non-believers aren't capable.
And then number two, just because certain Christians fail to live the Bible doesn't mean that the Bible isn't true.
I agree there, because the Bible does a good enough job on its own to prove it's not true.
If I played Claire de Lune on the piano and I messed it up, does that mean that the author of Claire de Lune was a bad artist?
No, it means you're a bad pianist. And that analogy you just made there completely debunks your point that you made saying that only atheists are bad.
No, us Christians are fallible people, but we're trying to follow an infallible book. We are imperfect. We have fallen short of God's grace, but we are trying to follow a perfect Redeemer, a perfect Savior.
Perfect? You sure about that?
We are finite creatures as humans, but God is infinite. He is so far beyond us in understanding. On the origin of life, we win. Christianity comes out on top, but they will mock the virgin birth, say, oh, how could a virgin conceive? Atheists believe that rocks conceived life.
Our survey said...
Again, no, we don't. It's not a prerequisite for atheists to believe anything about the origin of life. They just don't believe that a man was made from dirt.
You can look it up. You can type in online. Just type in these words. You owe your life to rock. Brings up a paper that explains why secular humanism is a valid explanation and we descended from minerals that were eroded from rocks.
So not rocks themselves then. Thanks for confirming, Matt.
Some will mock the idea that God created man from the dust of the ground, yet they believe that lightning sparked life into existence. Just like Frankenstein, just like science fiction, that lightning could create life, something that destroys life. Sparked life into existence? Are you kidding me?
That's a working theory, yes, but not the only theory. And again, this is the key to science. If we're not sure, then we will say we're not sure. And I don't mock the creation of Adam with dirt. I just don't see evidence as to how that is possible. None. Look, Matt drones on for another 4 minutes, but I think we get the gist of what he's saying here, don't we? More of his usual gumph. So I'll finish up by saying this. Matt Powell has a giant inflatable banana in his backyard that he calls Dr. Peel. Say it enough times and it'll be true, Matt. Well, there we go. All done and debunked for another Tinfoil Tuesday. What did you think of Matt's response to atheism there? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching today. It is truly appreciated. Of course, if you enjoyed it, consider subscribing to the channel and please hit the thumbs up button too if you really did like it. It'd be truly appreciated. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great week and I'll see you on Friday where we're going to experience a new flat earther. Haven't had one of them for ages. See you then.